How you guys doing? It's Let's Atari and let's talk about tech. Today we're going to be reviewing the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This phone came out about 2 weeks ago and I've had it for the last since release date, since September 24th. Today is October 5th. Wow. Today's October 5th and I've had it for about 2 weeks. So I wanted to release the video a little sooner, but I wanted to give time so I can get used to the whole new experience, because when you get a phone, it is a different experience, and sometimes when you first get it you can't really see the main differences, and there's also that honeymoon phase where you think, oh, everything's perfect. But having it for like 2 weeks now, I can see like everything I like and things I might not like about the phone. But today we're going to cover that in the video, and I'm going to cover 3 main points: the camera, the battery, and the screen. So first I'm gonna start off with the screen, and the screen is just amazing. The screen, I'm coming from an iPhone 12 mini, and previously I had the iPhone 10s Max. So the size, first of all, this is the Pro Max, so the size, I'm used to it, but it's definitely not for everybody. But moving on from the size, the actual screen itself is just beautiful. This is the most beautiful display on an iPhone. And I spoke to somebody today at my job, and I asked them, because they had the 13, and I saw they had the new color, so I was like, oh, you got the 13? And first off the bat is the fact that the screen is 120 hertz, and you can just tell right away. If you go through to a older iPhone or an iPad that doesn't have 120 hertz display, like iPad Air or something, you're gonna look at it and you're gonna be like, whoa, like that looks slow. And it's simply because the refresh rate is just so much better. And finally, that it comes to the iPhone, it's gonna be more universal. So iPhones, now that they have 120 hertz, it kind of more future proofs them. So I think the Pros and the Pro Maxes right now are probably the best grabs, because they have that. If you're talking about future proofing, because the iPhone 13 is probably gonna be the last iPhone with a 60 hertz display. Don't quote me on that. I'm just thinking that, because usually when they release a Pro feature, they then release it to the base model iPhones the year after. So the 14 most likely will have 120 hertz. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me again, but that's what I'm thinking. So future proofing wise, this is definitely an amazing screen to get and phone to get. And I would say if you care about having a phone for a long time, the screen is just amazing, and it's definitely a good reason to consider getting the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So the next thing is the cameras. The cameras definitely, they're huge. I mean, I'll put it up here, but the cameras are huge. They definitely do pop out, and if you care about the camera bump or whatever, it's definitely noticeable. But despite the physical looks of it, it looks very similar to the 12 Pro Max and the 11 Pro. But the actual cameras themselves, they are an improvement. I haven't used the ProRes feature. This is a 256 gigabyte, and that's the only reason why I got it, was to use 4K ProRes, but I don't think it came out yet. So that's definitely something that's gonna be cool to test out. But if you get the 128 gigabyte model, you're not gonna be experiencing that. But I think it's, again, I don't really know, I haven't used it yet, but that's one thing that, the feature that's coming with the iPhone 13 Pro Max. The actual cameras themselves, though, they have cinematic mode, and cinematic mode, I've used it a couple times. I'll probably put a video up here, and cinematic mode is cool. I think it's a gimmick, to be honest, but it is something that's cool to have. I wouldn't say it's a groundbreaking feature to go get an iPhone 13 Pro Max for, a 13 Pro, or even a 13, but it's definitely a cool feature to have. I just feel like eventually everybody's gonna have this feature, and it's just gonna be, your cool, typical portrait mode, because that's what it is. It's portrait mode video, and when portrait mode came out, it was really hyped, but then, everybody has it now, so nobody's really using it. So I think the main cameras on this are the most important thing. It has 3 times zoom now, and the regular, I think it's a telephoto lens. The lens is just, it gets the job done. It's amazing. It's an iPhone, so it's gonna take good camera pictures. The camera's gonna take good pictures. So overall, cameras, again, just amazing. It's Apple. They focus on cameras, and they did a great job this year. I have no complaints. And yeah, so let's move forward onto the battery. Battery life is 100% by far the best feature on this phone. If you're gonna consider buying this phone, the battery, if the screen didn't get you, if the cameras didn't get you, the battery is the most important thing in any phone, I think. and this phone just is a monster. I can't speak for any of the other 13s, but the 13 Pro Max is just a complete beast. I'm coming from a 12 mini, and this thing just blows it out the water. I literally couldn't get through a half day with the 12 mini. This thing, it's literally 1 a.m. in the morning, and I'm at 20% after a full day of school, you know, with Zoom calls, all of that, and then a full day of working from like 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. and I'm at 20% right now. If you want to see good battery, this phone is just the phone to get. I mean, this phone has nothing. I'm not disappointed in it. I've had calls throughout the whole day, you know, and I've been doing things on my phone, watching videos and whatever. And it's just kicking it. It's just really, just the battery is just trucking. It's doing the best thing it can do, and the battery is definitely my most favorite feature on this phone. For the last week, I've used it for the last week and a half, and the battery has just not disappointed me. So if that's one thing you're really concerned about, then the battery is just gonna be the best thing. It's gonna be the top of the top, you know. That's all I have to say about it. So I'm speechless. The battery in this is just so good, and it's left me speechless, honestly. It's just amazing. So talking about battery, this thing charges really quick. You know, it's an iPhone. It charges like your typical iPhone. I think 30 minutes for 50%, something like that. I'm not 100%. Don't quote me on that either. But that's gonna go into my first con on the phone. It doesn't have USB-C. You know, people are kind of getting fed up with Apple not putting in USB-C. I don't really care for it. But going back to the whole 4K ProRes thing, you know, transferring files from the iPhone to the MacBook, probably gonna be annoying using Lightning, but you know, it gets the job done. Probably just not the most efficient, but you know, it gets the job done. And USB-C, it's universal. It's on MacBook, iPad, it's on everything. So the fact that it's not an iPhone kind of sucks. But you know, that's not really a big deal. I don't think it's a huge deal. Honestly, I think they're just gonna go straight to wireless charging. So why even waste the time with USB-C? I guess that's their idea. But I'm not 100%. I don't know what Apple's doing inside or whatever. But that's just my take on that. And the next gripe that I have of the phone, it's not even a gripe. It's just like there really isn't no gripe, honestly. It's a heavy phone. You know, you're getting the Pro Max. It's just how it's gonna be. But yeah, it's just honestly just that. It's just the simple fact that it has a USB-C, and I didn't want to say this was a gripe, but the notch, I guess, because if you look at other 2021 phones, there is no notch. But again, that's preference. I don't think it's a big deal. The notch is smaller, and you know, once you use the iPhone, you get used to that. So I don't think it's a big deal. For some people, it might be a big deal. But that's really it. Just the USB-C and the notch, and it's really not that big of a deal. Overall, this phone has just been great. I've used it for a week and a half, so it's kind of an impression / review, but it's not really a full-on review because I haven't had the phone for a good amount of time to really tell you like everything. But so far, it's been very good. And if you're looking for a phone that's gonna be future-proof, this is the phone to get. The 13 Pro Max. 13 Pro Max has really good battery, top of the line battery. Amazing screen, 120 hertz, and the cameras are just, you know, they're great cameras. So if you have the money and you're looking for a phone that's gonna last you for the next 4 years, 5 years, get the 13 Pro Max. It's just without a doubt the best iPhone you can get right now. And that's really just all I have to say on the whole on my own review, on my own point of view right now, and how my experience has been with the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So I'm probably gonna make a follow-up video with this. I didn't really want this video to be too long, so I hope that this had enough information to let you know how the phone is so far, and if you're considering buying it, then these are the reasons why you should buy it. And if the reasons I said you shouldn't buy it, then hopefully that helped you choose what phone to get. But overall, I'm really impressed, and I'm really happy with my purchase. I look forward to using this phone for the next God knows how long, but yeah, it's a great phone, and I'm really having fun with it. So anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned, subscribe, and let's talk about tech.